Another night, oh, it's been a lonely life. Ha! I've been sleeping in my bed. Oh, I don't know. You guys know the Lumineers? It's not a bad soundtrack if you know what I'm saying. What's going on? Welcome to another edition of X Feed. Wow, wow,
It's not a bad
wow.
soundtrack.
Whoa, okay. Abstract, absolutely. 100% volume. We turned it to 0. We got a stream today. If you've been following me on X, what a phenomenal morning. My goodness. So you get to talk with a little bit of extra confidence once things sort of work out. We're going to go over things that were said, things that maybe should have been pushed a little bit more, some crazy happenings within the market as we typically do, because it's fun. We'll look at some high sales across some various NFT ecosystems. We're going to go over some interviews that we got lined up that are coming on through. We got Jackie Chan giving out free pizza. Imagine thinking, yeah, I'm going to go out for a slice, and Jackie Chan is the one to serve you. We're going to show the videos from that. Insanity. Crazy. Love it. Vince Carter's NBA Top Shot debut. Series 1. The Jersey match. So again, it's serial number 15. Just sold for $4,350 American. Which Canadian, and we're talking like, $550, $6,000. Not, listen, that's some cash. But it goes back to the collector mindset. Do people care about this? Do they want it? Clearly, for this, they do. But is this the return of the digital asset? We shall see. In previous titles in Pokemon video games, Pokemon took action once per turn. In Pokemon Legends ZA, trainers and their Pokemon will move around in real time during battles. I just wanted to show this for a second. Okay? There we go. So Pokemon is offering something a little bit different. Cool. At the same time, what you've seen on the timeline is this Cheeto-shaped Pokemon Charizard. Do people just really want a Charizard-shaped thing? Is it for the nostalgia reason? Do people have that kind of money? They're like, damn, this is a collectible. I have the funds. This is what I want. It's just cool. The 3-inch Cheeto Zard sold on Golden's auction website to an anonymous buyer. According to Golden, the Charizard Cheeto was discovered years ago. It was initially discovered and preserved sometime between 2018 to 2022 by First and Gold Collectibles. Bidding on the Cheeto started on February 11th at $275 before jumping up tens of thousands of dollars on Sunday. So this goes back to the Beeple art. Remember when Beeple sold the NFT for like $1 bajillion? What if other food companies are secretly the ones buying the Cheeto Zard, and now they're figuring out, all right, how do we make like craft dinner fold together to be like a craft Zard? That's ridiculous, but you never know who's bidding. Gutter Cat Gang. I'm confused. So they announced they were doing a token before, and I saw this on X, so like I'm not in their Discord or anything, but Yugen says, at here, got news. I am not dead, surprisingly. Welcome to Web3. Setting a token generating event, date next week, or I run into traffic. What kind of message does this send? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? But the Gutter Cat Gang, we got a token coming, or apparently they're going to run into traffic. What the hell? Jerry talking about the Parallel TCG tournament. So yesterday and throughout the week, we've highlighted a couple of videos from notable Web2 influencers, news sources that have been highlighting Parallel. We've had Web3 people that talked about it, highlighted it. We brought it up on stream saying, here was a big tournament. I didn't really have a whole lot of thoughts to it, but I guess the timeline was freaking out saying this is awful. So seen a few bad takes on the timeline about the Parallel TCG tournament. What we saw over the weekend was the only team that can actually pull off an esports event, pull off a pretty successful one. So, I mean, I don't know what we mean by like the only team. Like, are we saying the only people with like a game that would work in an event? Or like we're saying like the entirety of Web3 is a bunch of losers and none of them know how to run an event? We got to be very specific because this goes back to the argument of people saying, oh, we were the first NFT on this chain. We were the first team that did this to the first NFT that did that. A lot of times that's malarkey. I spent the first 5 years of my working life in events. One thing no one understands about them is that that it takes any event, conference, show, esports 3 years to actually find its footing. A lot of people can have thoughts about this event being not worth it. The thing about culture, though, is it's not built in a day. It happens slowly, then more slowly, then all at once and becomes a force. We saw some of the best TCG talents come together, compete at an incredibly high level, put together an amazing show, and send people home with a lot of money. Very nice. What do we think happens next? A bigger event with more money on a bigger stage, more eyes, and likely more talent. So not going to go through all of it, but it is a good perspective. Maybe some people are negative about it, but generally it's good for the space. So 4 p.m., Angel is selling their a pudgy that's like a stress ball. And this is on the marketplace called Dilly. If you guys haven't seen, Dilly is one of the abstract marketplaces. It's kind of this one where it's like a social commerce site as well. But if you check in the description down below, if you're on YouTube or my bio on X, we do the RWA Segments podcast. And had a funny clip from the recording today because we actually did one and I actually closed it out, son of a bitch. But it was talking about the terminologies within Web3, because if you think about it for a second, what are the various terminologies that we have in Web3? Like for the floor price, right? And then phygital. Like, do you guys think that the term physical, and that was a question that I was going to play, but we'll save it for next time. But that was a question I asked this person. I was like, do you like the term phygital? Because they're building out these chips that are collecting or connecting physical to digital goods. And they were like, I don't love it. And I don't think many people love it. But what people do like are the pudgy penguins. 10.25 ETH for one of the crowns with the beard. It's got like a Surf's Up kind of deal with the necklace, but my goodness, we still have some high NFT sales out there. Good Vibes Club, again, continuing to do their honorary. Still think it's going to be all over the space when that mint does happen next week. But one from Betty right there. Introducing Creeps Party. Lovely collection in Web3. The Creeps Party. The second official Creeps game is here. Creeps Party, a high-energy, battle-packed party game infused with native Web3 mechanics. So this is interesting. I don't think we've seen a type of party game out in Web3 before. And if we have, well, I guess we would say Blankos, right? So Blankos from Mythical Games, I think what it was, the people that are behind the NFL Rivals. But I'm trying to think of what else has done party games. And this is actually a cool concept because, again, looking for something that everybody in Web3 could enjoy. This looks like something that might just fill that void. Love to see it. So the White House event on Friday, a lot of eyes to that, but we're having various comments about things. And from Howard Lutnick, in quote, so Bitcoin is one thing, and then the other currencies, the other tokens, I think, will be treated differently, positively, but differently. So what does that mean for this crypto reserve? What does that mean for legal ramifications? I guess legality-wise, maybe nothing. But just how big of an allocation towards Bitcoin, that'll be interesting to watch. So Matty B's been doing this GM Matt series, and this morning he posted NFTs in 2021 were praised as cultural revolution. Which, thinking back, I'm pretty sure I said that too. We're like, listen, guys, you got to buy these things. Everybody's going to want to collect. And that was, at the time, it was about NBA Top Shot. And looking back, you know, all right, maybe people didn't want to connect basketball moments as harshly or aggressively as we did. But I mean, we started the stream. Somebody spent, just under 5,000 on a Vince Carter moment that there's thousands of, but there's only one serial match for it. So the cultural revolution, did they actually redefine anything? Is a shift happening, or was it just hype? So here's what Matt had to say on the situation.
Side of pudgy penguins, I mean, I don't know where they're having a major impact right now. The cultural revolution, somewhat temporary. I think who you have left right now are people in the crypto space who are looking for asymmetric returns because they're not accredited investors, so they can't get into startups that might turn into unicorns, and so they're coming to crypto, getting into things like meme coins, hoping that they have a great run. NFTs get caught up in that as people speculate on different collections. We're not immune to that by any means. We just had our mint at Segment. Like with any mint, there's always that decent sized group within that is really just there for a quick flip, a trade, just in case it moons. They don't really care about the project. If we do well, great, but that's not what they're here for. That's probably what I'd say.
Okay, so do you think that a lot of people in crypto right now are because they couldn't become credited investors? Now, if you have the opportunity to get into some of the, and my mind is racing right now because I'm trying to think of back in 2021. There was so many people that reached out that had different ideas, and I mean, it still kind of happens, arguably about the same. But before, it was, I think people were more open to like, hey, we're gonna try this. If it doesn't work, whatever. Well, now it's like you kind of have to have more of a foundational plan. But people come over and they're like, send messages and have various ideas about things. But when you see the graphic before within that, where it was highlighting the different crypto unicorns from OpenSea, Ripple, Circle, SolRare, KuCoin, one of the exchanges. How many people have put money into these companies? Let's use not those specific ones, right? That are out there that have done so. I mean, Recur, right? Think of how much Recur has raised. Think of how many smaller studios that you've looked at that have raised on top of whatever else. I mean, the Azerbala thing with Jenkins the Valet, they got what, like $11 million? And I just felt like that's kind of not really gone anywhere. So for argument's sake, I would say there's risks on both sides. We say, hey, here's an opportunity. Yeah, you're going to jump into certain components of it, but does it make it a lot better if you're able to be an accredited investor? Obviously, you're a little bit more self-sufficient if you're in that realm. But speaking of things that didn't age well for people that got into it, remember Moonbirds? It's now acquired by Yuga. So, of all things, Alexis Ohanian, who yesterday said they're trying to put in a bid to buy TikTok, is now shilling something that Kevin Rose is coming out about after like completely putting everything proof in the dumpster bin. So I'm confused, but this is the video. It's called Dig. And apparently this was big back in the day. So I'm aging myself, but I have no idea what this is.
So what we've got today is dig.com. It's with two G's, digg.com. Now to give the power back to the people.
Dig rewrites the internet's front page.
Gotta make this story big.
Tech darling Dig skyrockets with millions of loyal users.
From startup to superstar.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the show, Kevin Rose.
Former Dig loyalists flood to Reddit.
Dig versus Reddit. Ohanian seizes the moment.
Did you hear that awful sound? Oh, now the server's down.
Our perspective on the world has shifted a lot. You don't want to live in the past, but now we actually have the technology to make better, healthier community experiences. This is a team up I never would have imagined 20 years ago.
Kevin Rose, it makes sense that you would be relaunching dig.com as its original founder, but teaming up with Alexis, co-founder of Reddit, how did this all begin?
I mean, I really disliked you for a long time, and
Rightfully so.
And
Gotta dig. Gotta make this story big.
So it's funny because now in Web3, we're at a point where it doesn't matter if you've had something horrible. You look at all the comments, and there's like people from the Web3 crowd that are like, yo, what the hell's going on with this, right? Like, and rightfully so. But there's a lot of people that are like, oh, this is cool, this is awesome. And just the connection of this kind of stuff, I think it just highlights it doesn't matter what the hell you do in crypto. You can come back, you can do the worst things imaginable, and people aren't going to care. It is what it is. Ripple is proud to support the launch of the National Cryptocurrency Association. What the hell is this? Over the last few years, crypto has catapulted, to the mainstream. Today, 55 million Americans hold and use crypto, and many more are curious. Where, when, and how can I use this tech in my life? Is this the mass adoption we've been talking about? The National Cryptocurrency Association, a chain-agnostic, non-political nonprofit, is here to help by educating and raising awareness of all the utility that crypto technologies are bringing to real people every day. The NCA is independent of Ripple, but we are proud to support. Learn more below. All right, what are we going to learn?
It's okay to look at each other, right?
Here we go.
I learned about crypto for a body of work.
I've been focusing on crypto gaming.
I was making YouTube videos.
I wanted to work on something that's a little more purpose-driven.
Having a child is what really put us in the mindset of starting to want to invest more.
So crypto became my bridge to connect with people.
Talk to me about the blockchain. Explain blockchain.
I actually didn't know much about crypto.
And then I started really digging in, researching, and trying to figure out what is blockchain, what is crypto, how it all works.
It is simply just a record, a public ledger of value.
You can interact directly on the blockchain, exchange items of value much more easily.
Less fees, more transparency.
It is sustainable, it is equitable, and it's fast.
It's having flexibility and feeling comfort and secure, and I think crypto makes us feel that way.
Blockchain has given me a new medium.
Crypto is the future.
This technology really can be used for good.
Let's cut. Okay. Good.
It's so weird watching this stuff. Been here for like a while. It's so obscure seeing this kind of stuff. And like people talking about like, oh yeah, like I have crypto and I feel safe. Now how many people are absolutely terrified to touch anything within this space as well? Also, I've never seen any of the people that were in this, so I don't know if they're all actors. But like we got content creators with this and again, right? Like even if I was in something like this, you know, we got a crew here that's tuned in. Most people wouldn't know who the hell I am either. So not to disparage that whatsoever, but people make the arguments of, oh, you know, there's like less than 100,000 people here. Well, there's also conversations of hundreds of millions to billions of people are in crypto or own crypto of sorts. It's like, what's real? What's not? I was too embarrassed to share this, but I'll do it. Last Monday, I got drained, says Bassa. And thank God, listen, when anything bad happens, it's awful, but I am so thankful for the people that explain what happens so you can kind of have like a peace of mind in case you're doing something similar. So the same day I revealed my new profile, I filled with joy and excitement immediately went south because of one wrong link. It was an incredible social engineering hack where the hacker got a hold of my friend's account. He used his account to DM me and spark a convo, which has happened to me before, by the way, for somebody that I was talking with. I think we've talked about the story before. I'm going to lay Mary. But he asked me to do a podcast, which of course I'm down. I'm like, shit, well, I ask people to do that too. But I click a phishing link and boom, everything gone. So this is like, how do you prevent this if we're having like a serious conversation for a second? Like, let's say I get compromised and I reach out to you and you're somebody that's, you know, has a vocal opinion about something or would say, hey, like I'm down, right? There's a lot of people that say first of all, Joel, I don't have any comments. I don't care. Yeah, I'm not going to do it, right? So there's a lot of people that would just say no right off the bat. But for people that would, you know, like that opportunity, if I was compromised, how would they know that? Unless it's a complete change of verbiage. So in which case you would have to have longer conversations with somebody to know their verb. And that was, honestly, that was one of the reasons where this exact situation happened to me, where somebody reached out and they're like, oh, we're doing this Mint thing a little bit earlier than we thought, and we're having early access. Slightly different situation, but the tonality and the way they talked was completely different. And that was actually my biggest red flag, which was crazy. Yo, holy shit, Phazon coming through with a 10 Pengu, 1 Pengu, 1 Pengu, 1 Pengu, 5 Pengu, 1 Pengu, 1 Pengu, 1 Pengu. Unbelievable. Sorry, I just noticed flicking over here. That's crazy. Thank you for supporting. Hell yeah. And then there's a quick video here of somebody opening up some Forgotten Runes cards.
It's like a bag of chips. It's confusing.
And we're seeing more and more of this sort of thing happening throughout Web3. And I think they talk throughout this. So I'm going to mute it. But once you have IP, things that people want to collect, no matter what it is. Obviously, Pokemon's a huge perspective for it. But a couple of the Forgotten Runes cards here. What do we think? Physical form? Not bad, not bad. That one's kind of got like a Yu-Gi-Oh type feel for it. That particular card. And the back of it looks totally different. But just wanted to share that with you. Okay, so there's a seeker that sold for 1.2 ETH. These seekers sell for like $30. But an overseeker, which there's like 5 of them or something very small, don't go on sale that often. They've gone for insane amounts before, but it sparks your interest when you see one that goes for 1.2. We're going to wrap this into a big situation in a second. Do want to highlight that we got a video coming out with the Recon haulers. It's a mint coming up on Root Network. Keep an eye for that. But Silo. Just absolutely moonshot this morning out of nowhere. So I have a Telegram group that pings buys when they happen. If anybody wants an invite, feel free to ask. There's like 30 of us in there. It's not an insane amount of conversation, but it's cool that we're all there watching. So we have that huge seeker buy. We have Silo absolutely flying off the rails, in which Rhythm King says it's a Schiller festation, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing when you say that out loud because it sounds kind of weird, but hell yeah, I haven't heard that one before. And then moments ago, we have a gold robo thinging. Now, this is a WETH acceptance offer. Somebody made the offer. Somebody accepted it for 1.25. These things, again, also going for like $60. So we got rare things flying, Silo flying. I mean, I don't know. Things are looking good. We have a whole slew of videos on Silo, Futureverse, the Root Network. Just saying, if you have a moment of time, want to check it out, would love for you to do so. In which my response to all of that is, your plan wasn't wrong, you just didn't stick with it long enough for it to work. Plans fail less often than the people planning to follow them. And we've stuck with the plan. Not bad. The White House Committee Summit on Friday. Here is who is going. We have Ripple, MicroStrategy, Tether, Multicoin Capital, ARK, Cardano Foundation, Solana Foundation, Ethereum Foundation, Ondo, Andreessen Horowitz, A16Z, the SEC Chair, Coinbase, and Binance. What do you think happens during that event? That should be good. U.S. Marshal Service cannot account for billions of dollars worth of crypto per CoinDesk. That's tough. That's tough. Isn't this stuff like on the blockchain? Isn't it public ledger? How do we lose these things? There's Jackie Chan. Again, imagine going out for pizza and Jackie Chan's like, yo, fam, do you want a slice? That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yo, Faison, again, thank you for the pengu. But guys, listen, you got to have a thesis. You got to stick with what you're excited about. You got to find your edge. You got to find your edge wherever and however you can do that. A lot of people, they're going to be lazy about things. They might think, oh, you've not thought about it. Listen, we've got theses. We've thought about things. We can value. We can compare. There's so much to go over. And you just got to be passionate about what it is. Figure out your edge. But that's going to be it for this edition of XFeed. Thank you so much for coming on through. Hope you guys have had an unbelievable day, which of course I have. As a reminder, again, if you're wanting to tune into last week's RWA Segments podcast, as well as this week's that we just dropped on Tuesday, check out the link in the description below if you're on YouTube or on my bio on X or the RWA Segments podcast, wherever you find your podcast at. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow as per usual. And Faison, thank you so much for the pengu over an abstract. Absolute insanity. You're crazy. Peace.